Hello students, today we are going to discuss some various questions from various entrance examinations. So these are all past year questions of entrance examination from the topic of EMI. So I'll try as much as to write the questions, the hint of the questions, and then we are going to solve it. And you can just take a note from the whiteboard. So let us start with the first question. The first question says that you have a circuit which looks like this. There is one resistance over here also. This is 3 ohm resistance, this is 6 ohm resistance, and you have a rod, and this rod can slide. This rod can slide with a velocity which is equal to 2 meter per second, and it is kept in a magnetic field, and that magnetic field is equal to 2 Tesla. The length of the rod is 1 meter. Now let's try to figure it out over here. Now if this is a rod which is moving over here, that is V cross V, all positive will shift here, all negative will shift over here. So I can replace this rod with a battery over here, and this battery will have an EMF of BLV, and that EMF will be equal to V is 2 Tesla, length is 1 meter, velocity is 2 meter per second over here. So 2 into 1 into 2, that is equal to 4 volt. So what exactly is the question over here? The question here is how much force I need to apply from outside. How much force I have to apply from outside so that the rod continues to move with a constant velocity of v. Okay? So you have to find how much is the force so that the velocity remains constant. This is enough hint to understand the question. Now over here, if you can see that when I move the rod in this direction, this area becomes less. That means the flux over here becomes less. The flux over here becomes more. Okay. So how does the induced current will try to develop? So these two loops will have two different directions of induced current. So when I move the rod in this direction, the flux here decreases. So the inward flux decreases. So the current here will try to add up to the decreasing flux. So since the field is inside, so the induced current in this loop will also be created in clockwise direction, so that it can also create a field inside. Okay. So here the current will be in this direction. Whereas here, if the rod is moving along this direction, this flux is increasing. So here the induced current will try to reduce the flux by creating a field in the opposite direction, and hence the current will be clockwise. Anti-clockwise. So here the current will be anti-clockwise. Now let us say that this current is I1 and this current is I2. So when this I1 flows over here in this circuit, it comes back, and this is your I1. This I2 flows in this direction, comes over here. So what is coming from here? The current which is coming here is I1 plus I2. So this current is I1 plus I2. The current which is flowing through the rod. So our first target is to find the value of I1 and I2. So for that, I will complete this circuit, and I will write Kirchhoff's law. This is 3 ohm. This current is I1 and this current is I2. So if I write the Kirchhoff's law over here, starting from this, okay, what will I get? I will get minus 3 times of I1, and this and here I am going against the flow. So I will get here as 4 volt equals to 0. So I will get the value of I is equal to 4 by 3. Similarly, if I write the Kirchhoff's law over here, this is down the stream. So I will write here as minus I2 times of 3. And then again this becomes minus 4 equals to plus 4 equals to 0. So your I2 will be equal to 4 by 3. This one is 6 ohm. I am so sorry. This one is 6 ohm. So this one will be your 4 and this is your 6. So this will be your 6. So it is equal to 2 by 3. So what is the value of I1 plus I2? The value of I1 plus I2 is 4 by 3 plus 2 by 3. That is equal to your 6 by 3. And 6 by 3 you can write as 2 ampere. Correct? So I know the value of current. If I have known the value of current as 2 ampere, now remember on this rod, the current flowing is 2 ampere. Magnetic field is inside the board. Direction of force. So the direction of force will be equal to IL cross B. Remember the formula for force? The formula for force is IL cross B. So IL cross B, the force will be in this direction. So this is the force due to the magnetic force. So in order to balance it so that the velocity does not decreases, I have to apply an external force in this direction. Correct? So that external force must be equal to the force because of the magnetic field, and that is equal to I times of V. And what is I? I have got as, this is your I have got as 2 ampere. So this is your 2 multiplied by length. Length is 1 meter, field is 2 Tesla, and that is equal to 4 Newton is your answer. Okay? Please make a note of this. Next question. Next question is that there is a magnetic field region over here. There is a magnetic field region over here. This is the magnetic field region with field inside the board, and there is a semicircular ring which is falling with a velocity of v. With this end given as m and this end given as q, and the radius of this ring is r. The radius is equal to r. Now the question is, at this instant, as shown in the question, at that instant, what is the induced EMF and which end is at high polarity? So we have seen earlier also that if you take a small segment, if I take a small segment over here, only this one which is perpendicular to the direction of velocity, this distance will add up to the EMF. So if I add up this all small distance everywhere, I will get an effective length of 2r with a velocity of v and length as 2r. So the induced EMF will be equal to VLV, and that is equal to V into 2r multiplied by V. Now the question is, which one is at higher potential? So you use the logic of V cross B, and all the positive will shift over here. So this is the positive and this is your negative. So Q will be at higher potential. Okay. So here the question is, at the instant, what is EMF and which end is at high polarity? This is the question, and that is the solution. Q is at high end and this is your EMF. Okay, take a note. Next question. The question is that the mutual inductance is given to you as 0.09 Henry. That is, the mutual inductance is given to you. And there are two coils. There are two coils basically. If you change the current in one of the coil, from 0 to 20 ampere in time 0.006 second, then what is the induced EMF in the second coil? This is the question. If you change the current in one of the coil, what is the induced EMF in the second coil? So this is very much right away equation that if you recall the formula EMF, if it is for self inductance, we use the formula L di by dt, and if it is for mutual inductance, it is equal to M di by dt. Instead of di by dt, I am writing as delta I by delta t. And data are given to you. So this is 0.09, delta I is 0 to 20, that is 20 minus 0, and time is 0.006 seconds. And then you simplify, and that is your final answer. Okay. So that's the whole question. So you can just take a note, just put a question mark over here, and the mutual inductance is given to you as 0.09. That is the third question for the day. Next question is very interesting. In the next question, is question number 4 for the day. You have two U-tubes, both are made of conducting wire and almost same length. Another U-tube is over here with a slightly small change in cross-sectional area in such a way that this U-tube can slide inside this U-tube when they are brought together. And this is being brought with a velocity of v. This is being brought with a velocity of v. The length is given to you as that the radius is given as r. So the length is 2r for both of them. So the radius, the distance, radius is r. So these U-tubes are in the form of semicircles. Okay. And the magnetic field is given to you, which is inside the board. The magnetic field is inside the board. Now the question here is, what is the induced EMF? What is the induced EMF? Okay. And now let's try to understand over here by separating them individually. So if I separate them individually over here, the effective length, as I told you, will become 2r, moving with a velocity of v, and magnetic field is inside the board. So v cross b, positive will shift over here, negative will shift over here. For the second one, this distance is 2r, moving with velocity of v, magnetic field is still inside the board. So v cross b, positive will shift here, negative will shift here, positive will shift here, negative will shift here. So the very first look, you think that you may think that it is 0. It's not 0. Look at here. I'll give you a very clear explanation over here. As they make the contact over here, I can draw a circuit like this: plus, minus, and then over here this is minus, this is plus. So you can see here the plus is connected to minus. When plus is connected to minus, EMF gets added up. Or even if you say, let us say this is your E1 and this is your E2, you start from here and write a Kirchhoff's law. So this one is going from negative to positive. So you will get this as minus E2, and then again you will get from negative to positive. So again you will get this minus of E1. If you take the mod, then the mod will be equal to E1 plus E2. So the answer is, induced EMF answer is BLV plus BLV, and that is equal to L is 2R times of V plus B into 2R times of V, that is equal to 4R B into V. This is your final answer. Okay. If you can see here what we have done, this question, the first one was slightly lengthier, but it was not difficult. So it is all short questions, and the concept need to be very much clear to do this kind of questions. We'll go to the next question. The next question is, there are two magnetic poles over here. This is north, this is south, and a rod is placed like this. I need to draw a three-dimensional picture in order to understand this. I will try my best. North pole facing, south pole. So this is south pole and this is your north pole. So definitely the field will be lying from north to south. And there is a rod over here. And they have given that there are three directions. Direction is Q, direction is L, and direction is this one direction is coming in this direction as L, Q, L, and one is going up as M. So the question is, in which direction should I move the rod so that there will be an induced EMF developed in the rod? Now, if you move along the direction, if you remember the core concept of induced EMF, you have to move with the velocity v, and this is the magnetic field. This is the logic. Now, if you see here, length, velocity, and magnetic field. Magnetic field is inside, velocity this direction, length this direction. This one, and this one, all three are mutually perpendicular to each other. So you have to look for direction of velocity which makes all three mutually perpendicular to each other. If you move along the direction of Q, you are moving in the direction of magnetic field. No. If you move in the direction of length, that means you are moving. If you move the rod in the direction of L, you are moving it in the direction of length. Not possible. So the only possibility is M. So if you move the velocity in this direction, that means V is in this direction. Let us call J cap. Field is in this direction. Let us call this as I cap. And rod is in this direction. Let us call it as K cap. So all three are mutually perpendicular to each other. Okay. So the answer here is M. So here you can write the question. In which direction the rod need to be moved to induce a EMF. Okay. Next question. Next question is, a soft iron core has been used, and I am applying a current in such a way that there is a battery over here and a rheostat over here, so that we can change the direction of current. Okay, and there is an observer over here who is watching the entire thing. The observer is also shown in the question. And this is a coil. The question here is, it's a very simple question, that what will happen in the coil if the current is increased or decreased. So let us see what is happening, what is going to happen if it is increased. So if this is the plus polarity, the current will go up. This one is going from the behind of the core, and this one is coming forward. So all these currents are like this. So seen from this end, these currents are going in this direction. Okay, currents are going in this direction. So the field is inside. So this is south pole. This has to be north pole. Now, if you increase the current, you are increasing the strength of north pole. So the induced current will be trying to oppose the cause. So if this is increasing, this will try to decrease it. How to decrease it? By creating a north pole. Correct? If you decrease the current over here, that means you are decreasing the strength of north pole. So if you decrease the strength of north pole, it will try to create a south pole. It will try to increase it. Okay? So it's a very straightforward question. What will happen in the loop if current is increased or decreased in the core, in the solenoid? They also use the word in the entrance examination as choke coil. Coil, choke coil, solenoid, all belong to the same family. Let's move ahead. Question number 6. Again, this is a very common question in the entrance examination in a very simple way. Before I start the question, let me put this is question number 6. I forgot the order. Maybe 5 or 6. Okay, let's say 6. So let us say that the whole idea here is EMF is equal to change in flux by time taken. Okay, if I divide this by R on both the sides, EMF by R is your current. Current multiplied, current is defined as what is called? If you see the current formula is delta Q by delta T. Okay. So if I multiply here with delta T on both the sides, then this is the charge flown in the circuit. Okay, and that is the whole question. And what is delta phi? Delta phi is B times of A. Whichever is changing, you have to take that change. If B is changing, then change in B multiplied by area. If B is constant and area is changing, then B multiplied by change in area divided by R. So in this particular question, so I just write what I just said. Either you can use this if the question says that field is changing, or you can use this logic if your area is changing, so field remains constant, and area is changing. So any one of them can fetch the direction of the amount of charge flowing in the circuit. But the question which I am going to discuss is the magnetic field is changing from 2 Weber to 10 Weber. So this one we have to use, and it is happening in a time interval of 0.2 seconds. Time is not required anymore now. because the formula has become independent of time. Okay, and R is needed, so R is also given. The resistance of the coil is 2 ohm. So what is the charge flowing in this much of time? So now it's very much obvious. You have to use this formula. So you have to find how much charge is flown in the circuit. Okay, this is your charge. Small q, capital Q, doesn't matter. So you have to use this formula to get the answer. Okay, the coil has a radius also is given to you. Radius is 1 meter, so you can find the area as 5 times of r square. So this is the area which will come over here. Delta B is this 10 minus 2, and r is this which will come over here, and I can give you the value of. Okay, so that's the next question. And these are very common questions. Remember, this charge finding is very common. If you see the question bank, it becomes very common that many times they have asked how much charge flow, how much charge flow. And don't get panicked if the time is not given to you, because the charge formula time does not appear. Same question again. Next question. In this question, there are two coils, and the mutual inductance between the two coils is 5 millihenry. That is 5 into 10 power minus 3 Henry. Current changes in the first coil according to equation. So if I consider this is the first coil and the second coil, and there is a current flowing in the first coil, and the current in this coil is given as I naught cos omega t, where I naught is 10 ampere given to you, and omega is 100 pi radian per second. Now question is, what is the maximum value of EMF induced in the second coil? Okay. So again we know the formula. EMF is equal to m di by dt. This is the formula which we know. So the induced EMF which is going to develop over here will be equal to mutual inductance is 5 into 10 power minus 3, and then you have to differentiate the I equation. The differentiation of I equation is, you differentiate it. Differentiation of cos omega t is minus sin omega t multiplied by omega. 1 omega comes as multiplication when you differentiate it. So you will get this as 5 into 10 power minus 3 into omega I naught sin omega t with a minus sign, because differentiation of cos is minus. Okay, differentiation of cos is minus sign, and that is equal to, now put the data. It's all about putting the data now. Omega is how much? Omega is 100 pi. I naught is how much? 10. Okay, multiplied by sin omega t. So they are asking you the maximum value. The maximum value is this one. This one is the maximum value. Okay, because this I can now write as I naught dash into sin omega t. Because this is the EMF dash into sin omega t. Okay, because this is the EMF equation, so this must be the peak value of EMF. So if you calculate this, you get the peak value. So write the question over here. What is the peak value of induced EMF? Okay, when the current here is changing with respect to time as given to you as I naught cos omega t, and the mutual inductance is also given to you. Next question is very interesting and very important over here, and this will take some time. The question says that a small square loop of wire of side L is placed inside a large square of wire of side L. So there is a square of side length L, and there is a very small square over here of side length small l, and this is given to you that L is very less than the capital, and this is given to you. The mutual inductance of the system is proportional to, what is the mutual inductance of the system? So for that we have to just imagine that the current I is flowing through the wire, and remember it's a square wire. If you take a length of L carrying a current of I, and if you want to know what is the field over here, at the center. Remember, this distance r is equal to L by 2, half the center length, L by 2. And since it's a square, so I can write this as 45 degree and 45 degree. What is the field formula? Field formula is equal to mu naught I divided by 4 pi r sine theta 1 plus sine theta 2. If you do remember the formula, formula is this. Now, if you write the formula over here, mu naught I divided by 4 pi r, that is your, both the thetas are same, 45, 45. So you will write as sine 45 plus sine 45. And what is sine 45? Sine 45 is 1 by root 2. So this will become 1 by root 2 plus 1 by root 2, 2 by root 2. So you will get this as 2 by root 2 into mu naught I divided by 4 pi r. And what is r? R I can now put as L by 2. And then 2 goes at the top, so it becomes 4 mu naught I divided by 4 root 2 pi times of L. This is the value of magnetic field. And how many wires are there? 4 are there. So the net field will be equal to, so each field will create the field in the inward direction. If I am assuming the current in this direction, this will also, this is a straight wire and the field will be inside. For this one also is a straight wire, so field will be inside. So current is flowing here, over here. So here also the field will be inside, okay? And here also the field will be inside if you use the right hand thumb rule. This is equal to 4 times of that field. So one more 4 will come. Okay? One more 4 will come and this will become 16 mu naught I divided by 4 root 2 pi times of. Okay? What next? Okay, I request you to take a note of this, especially that part, because that part I am going to cover. Okay, now I have got the field value. Now try to recall this formula. Phi is equal to m times of I. This is the formula for mutual inductance. When we differentiate this, we get, when we differentiate this, d phi by dt, we get this as EMF, and that is equal to m di by dt. So here I have to use this formula, flux formula. Okay. And what is flux? The general definition of flux is B times of A. So what is field? Field is equal to, field is given to you. How much is that? 16 mu naught I by 4 root 2 pi L. This is the flux given to you. Multiplied by the area. Area is how much? Area of the smaller loop. See, the field is because of the mutual means, field will be because of one coil and area will be of the another coil. Okay. So another coil has an area of small L square. This is the flux. When I compare this with m times of I from the definition of mutual inductance, my I gets cancelled out. That's the reason why I took I in the very beginning, because I was good, because you have to take I. So what is your m? M will be equal to 16 mu naught L square divided by 4 root 2 pi times of L, and then you can simplify, but that is your final answer. Okay. So with this I end my class. It's almost half an hour. So see you in the next class. Thank you for watching.